Cool. What up, guys? Weekly Q&A. I feel like the past few weeks we've worked on some rejams, some shallower play. I know we like to do a lot of work in the box because we make a lot of money there, and we're in that spot so frequently, and we VPIP a lot from there. But this spot, I think this week we're going to work on some more something a little bit deeper SPR. We're going to look at some 60 big stuff from the low jack and hijack. We open in the hijack, in the low jack, and hijack calls pretty much here. And we're 60 big blinds effective, both blinds fold. And what we're looking at here is going to be the hijack's response. What kind of boards they're going to be favor their betting ranges. What boards are we just exclusively going to be almost using a check only strategy? So kind of getting an idea there. Here are both the ranges. As you can see, under the gun +3s range, both ranges fairly comparable. There's not a massive range advantage outside of when under the gun for flats, they don't have aces, kings, not really have queens much or anything like that. They do mix in jacks. So we see that. So they don't have like a lot of the best king X. So just looking at this, you can just tell right away king X is going to be a good board for under the gun +3 to bet a lot. So here's our overall averages. Somebody's mic has a little bit of background feedback. Thank you, Larry. So here we are. C betting frequency for low jack versus hijack here. The overall average, we are going to be, I'm looking at the wrong one. Here we go, right here. All the ranges are still the same. I was just on the wrong one. The overall, we're going to be checking like 60-ish% of the time. Overall. Ace high boards, you're mostly checking. A lot of your middling ace X probably can't bet 3 streets for value, and they make very good bluff catchers and probably betting some of the best. And here we go, the king high boards, you're only checking 30% of the time. So I think a little nuance in this spot that we all kind of fall into the trap of maybe not betting this board enough if we're using a high check out of position strategy. If we're going to be checking a ton of out of position, we still should have some king high boards we should be betting simply because we look at the ranges. They don't even have these king X. They fold king jack off. They mix 3-bet with their king queen O. So they really only have like this, and we have all this. So and we put a lot of other hands in the tough spot. Outside of that, everything else is pretty close to check to 50-50 over a 9. And then when you get to 3 low cards, 8 and under, you're just checking. You're just, 5 high board, 6 high board, 7 high board, almost all 90%, 8 high board, 80%. So imagine when you have 3 of those cards all on the board at the same time, you're probably just almost checking every time. I don't know if this really matters, the EV between the boards, but ace high boards and king high boards, we do have a lot of very strong hands in our range. I don't think the betting EV really matters too much. I'd really like to look at the chart over here to the right. All right. So what kind of boards are really good for us to be betting or checking from this spot? We start with the ace high boards here. Check frequency with ace low, 99%. Ace low, check frequency, 98%. Some of these ace high boards are really bad. Ace high, looks like one we can start mixing a bit more. And then ace high, we do a lot of betting. We do a lot of small betting, a ton of small betting. I imagine when we go to the king high boards, which is probably going to be categorized high, we do a lot more betting. And here we go, right here, you can see 60-70%. our highest frequency of betting from out of position right away. High card, king high card, paired, or high king high, high mid, or whatever. Everything else is going to be pretty high frequency check. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time. High, high, low pair looks like it's a pretty high frequency. Looks like high, 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 mid, mid mixing. Cool.
Low, low, low is.
Yeah, low, low, low is just going to be just a disaster. Yeah, let's take a closer look at low, low, low. Check frequency 98%.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. I mean, we just don't connect with that board outside of overpair, and yeah, it's gonna be rough on us.
I didn't think it would be. I lead a lot there because they don't have low other than pairs, and we still have all the aces and kings and queens.
I mean, they have enough low. They have at full frequency every single set. Every single set.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, most people in real life aren't going to mix these ace-x as commonly. So they're going to have suited wheel draws and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like these boards, when we bet, we commonly find ourselves in no man's land on the turn, right?
See, we have all those sets too. So typically I lead there 30% of the time. So I'll stop doing that. Yep.
Yeah, you can see it hates it. You can see the solver just kind of hates it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, here you go.
Wow.
Check frequency 100%. Just nightmare boards. 3 low cards, under an 8, 7 and under.
Oh, that surprises me. They don't have any low aces, and we tie them in all the sets, and we have aces, kings, queens over them. So
this one's a little one. I mean, I feel like population is not going to be 100% out of position. Not c-betting this board. Ace Jack 10. It's getting bet.
Yeah,
that board is 100% getting better. All right. Take a few more look at these boards. It said ace low low, ace low low, 3 low cards under an 8, 3 low cards under an 8, ace low low. So you kind of see a theme here. The jack deuce kind of makes some sense as well. Let's go to the other side and see what boards we get to hammer. Paired boards, king high boards. Insta guess. King high, paired. Paired, king high, paired. Yep.
Paired. Okay.
I mean, king 10-10 is never checking. Yikes. I definitely not doing that. King 8-9 rainbow, never checking. Mixing in some big bets as well on some of these boards, 33%. And paired board, we're going to use big. We're going to have some big sizings, paired board out of position. I think people autopilot 30% with everything, which EV, from an EV standpoint, probably isn't like losing much money or anything. Only checking 15% of the time on 8, 8, 10. This board feels like one that I would be over checking from out of position. King, queen, 9. 2-tone. You're gonna be only betting small, a lot. So one common theme with these boards where we do want to find bets are they're pretty connected king high boards that are pretty good for our range, right? And some paired boards sprinkled in there as well. Since we're going to go over some other stuff, I don't want to spend too much time looking at the graphs and everything else, because I want to show you guys, for instance, when you are checking out a position, kind of what our strategy looks like as well, versus small and big bet when we are in the hijack opening playing heads up. So we'll take a quick look at the graphs. Before I move on, did anybody have any questions or anything?
It's just this is low jack, hijack, right?
Correct.
Okay, just
Yep.
making sure.
Yep, low jack, hijack, 60 bigs.
My
Heads
charts are a
up.
little different, that's why I was asking, but
Yeah.
A6s, if you don't mind, because of the way my brain works, do you mind sorting that last graph by out of position equity?
Right here?
Yes, sir.
No problem. Out of position equity, we start with the lowest, and it's going to be kind of the board you think. I mean,
Yeah, because
the 3 low cards. Some of these queen high boards are particularly bad because you can see from the range, they do have a fair bit of reasonable queen X, having ace queen in their range as a flat. King queen mixing, queen jack, queen 10. Let me go back here. Oh, you wanted to look at this. Sorry. Wait a minute, where was it at? It was right here. I'm sorry. Here's the equity again. So a lot of those 3 low cards, and then we go to look at the highest for you. There we go.
Yeah, that makes total sense because a lot of that range are going to 3-bet. So they're stripped of a lot of their ace X and king X.
Yeah, they're just 3-betting ace king, ace queen suited, aces kings, ace king, ace queen off at some frequency. So when we get these premium boards, they just, since they're mixing at such a high frequency, they just don't have the top of their range, and we do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we
Thanks,
just
sir.
get to put them in hell. Yeah, no problem. And one thing I think as well, we get to do is just bet small, as we can see here. If we're just questioning our size from out of position in a spot, it looks like it just prefers to just go 30% as well.
So small and
Just
frequent, like Little likes to say.
Yeah, small and frequent on these premium boards that are good for our range as well. And then we'll obviously, when we get into the wizard, we'll have an opportunity to see how we respond on turns that are good and bad for our range. So we were looking at the graphs. Did you want to see anything else here, man?
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go here. We'll just breeze through these graphs, and then we look at our frequencies. 6 high boards, you're just literally never betting it. I mean, big 1% of the time or something. 5 high boards, all these the same. And then you get king high boards, pretty much the only boards you're going to be betting fairly frequently, more than half the time. Everything else is checking pretty heavily. Some of the 10 high boards, I assume, are here because you're going to be you want to bet your overpair on some of these 10 high jack high boards and stuff. So ace high boards, we know ace low is dog shit. No betting. Ace high, the bet there. We don't really use big sizings ever here. And then Broadway boards, high, mid. And we're betting a lot, and we have some big bets. Okay. High boards. So Broadway boards, really good. Mid boards, mid. I'm assuming some of our overpairs are just going to be going really big in some of these configurations from out of position. That's why you don't see too much small betting on mid boards. Probably betting big and less frequently, it looks like here. In low boards, you're just dead. Cool. So now that we've seen how our response would be on a lot of different boards from the low jack versus high jack, let's take a look at if we're in the low jack and we use a check strategy for a lot of our different hands. Oh, excuse me. What up, no scope? No, this position, if you're asking, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. This is low jack versus hijack at 60 big blinds. The chart we just looked at would be our response first to act. This next chart is if we check a lot of our range, a lot of hands in our range, which we do, what's our response going to be versus a small bet in the back seat? I think this is a concept that's pretty common and something you'll see right away, like all the fold frequencies for every single board versus the small bet just meets MDF. 33% pretty much across the board. You're just meeting MDF and creatively just understanding which hands in that range you need to fold to just not overfold in these spots. So that's why it looks like this. And then it'll look kind of the same for bigger bets, but you might be overfolding a few more hands. So right away, overall, we are folding 33% of the time because they use a small bet. We need to defend 60% of the time or something. And ace high boards calling the most because we're going to have a lot of ace highs. We check a lot of our middling ace X. So we're always going to check call, and we're also going to check call pairs on these boards. Mono boards is also very high, never folding a pair or a suit. And then everything else is just kind of MDF standard. Once again, here's a look at the ranges.
Hey, Six, how are you? I have a quick question. I just got here recently.
Yes, sir.
When you low jack versus hijack, when you mention our response, does that mean that they opened pre-flop and this is our response?
No, our response meaning that we've opened in the low jack, they've called, and
Okay.
here we've checked, and they've c-bet small in the back seat.
I see.
So they've just bet small, and then this is how we're going to be responding across all board types. You can see the ace high, king high boards and whatnot. And then since they used a small bet here, we're just meeting MDF is pretty much what the solver is doing here with a lot of its range.
Okay, right. And are these study groups mainly for tournaments or cash games? Can you apply them to both?
I guess you can apply some of the theoretical concepts to both, but one thing to take into consideration, the ranges would be different in cash games, you know. So some of the ranges would be much different in cash games. And this group is really focused on tournaments. But it would be a nice introduction into some of the, you know, just GTO and some of the concepts that we're trying to all learn here.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So yeah, we'll look at this. So let's take a look at a couple of the boards and how we're going to be responding versus the small. I want to see what boards we check raise the most frequently right away. We know the low boards are going to be high folds. Actually, let me see. We're just probably check folding. Ooh, that's 20%. How about this one? Oh, we're just folding the king high boards when we don't have it, huh? So we check from out of position. So since we're betting such a high frequency on these boards, we're just folding when we don't. Thought it would be the low boards. And then the ace high boards were just, yikes, never folding really.
So this is responding to, as you said, a small bet. So 25% or 33% or something along that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a c-bet small in the back seat. So our range is already going to be condensed by the solver by which hands it bets and which hands it checks. And when it gets to this point, you know, it's just deciding with which range it, you know, it didn't bet with and kind of assuming it check raises or whatnot. I really want to see what boards it check raises the most frequently. Damn, that's 36%.
Okay, touching on the, you know, I don't want to get too off topic, but touching on this topic. So am I wrong in saying that when you open, either in position or out of position, do you check more out of position, or it's depending on board texture and all these variables?
As an overall as an overall, and you're mostly checking out of position a lot. It
Okay.
does depend on a lot of different board textures. I think if you did just get here a little bit late, earlier we seen most boards, like a lot of low boards, things like that, are just checking when it doesn't really fit our range. But we have king high boards, which we bet at a very high frequency. Just looking at this real quick, if you're trying to develop a c-bet strategy, if you were late, this is it. So it's checking 63% of the time here. But on king high boards, you get to bet more than half the time, like 60% of the time.
Right, since you were the first one to open the pot, and that should favor your range a little bit more.
Yeah, the king high specifically. And if you're thinking of the way ranges are constructed here, and that's simply because the hijack's range, they should be three betting ace king out of every high frequency kings, mixing some king queen offsuit. I believe population will probably mix king queen suited as a three bet as well. So when we show up to a king high flop, they're pretty capped, and without having like the ace kings and some of the king queens mixed frequency in a range.
Yeah,
So we get to bet a lot.
They would have three bet that.
Yes.
If that was the case. Now it favors more orange. Okay.
Correct. And going back to your question there, on the other side of the coin, like when it comes three low cards, right? Our strategy is going to be checking a lot, as you can see here, with six high boards being exclusive, like 98% of the time we're just checking.
Right, because we might be ahead, we might not, but we just want to protect ourselves by, I guess, checking mostly, or I guess.
Yeah, you may have a check raise strategy with some of your hands. Maybe you're check raising kings on, on some of these configurations, or getting two streets.
Yeah,
we got to get into the solver to see.
I seem to do that with ace high a lot. I think, and sometimes in tournaments I do that with ace high. I'm not sure if that's wrong or right, but
yeah, it's probably. I mean, you're probably on the right track when it's three low cards, right? Boards are just horrible for us. But yeah, getting back to versus the small c-bet here really quick, and then we're going to get into looking at the wizard, kind of seeing if we can see any concepts in there and playing against that. Versus the small c-bet. We're just check raising. Yeah, this is our highest check raise frequency, and paired boards. A lot of paired boards right at top. Looks like pair high cards a lot. Jack, Jack, 10, 10, Queen, Queen, Jack, 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 Jack. Just looking at there's a 6, 6 one. Ace, Ace, King, King. So some high paired boards look like we can check raise at a pretty high frequency. Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. And then outside of that, we have 9, 7, 4. They don't have too many offsuit nines in their range. More king high boards. And then some of these three low cards, probably just for protection versus overpair and stuff like that. 10 boards. How about boards we need to just we're just always just calling. I mean, we're calling a lot. Since we have a 0% c-bet from low jack on jack, ace, jack, 10, we're just calling a lot. King high, all these premium paint boards that we actually do check from out of position, we're just check calling a lot. I mean, these are really strong boards. High, high, high. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time here because I want to make sure we have some time to run it. We'll look at the equity since people really think it's pretty good to see this. Out of position equity, very low equity here from out of position. It really is on ace 10, 6, jack 10, 7 as well. Ace, jack, 7, ace, queen. It's a lot of the.
Look how high our raise 10 frequency is on our lowest equity board.
Yes.
That's
just check. Yeah, we're just raising big as well. Yeah, that's a good eye.
Yeah, I don't understand equities yet. I'm still in the master class, but I guess I'll get there.
Yeah, it's just how much equity we have versus their range. Pretty much meaning how often we're going to win the pot at showdown. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, or if they have a better explanation or easier layman terms to explain it to them. Jack 10x, King Jack X, they do have a lot of hits their range pretty hard. But out of position equity, this is our highest equity board, Jack 10 X two-tone. And it's interesting. We've seen some of the lowest equity boards were like Ace 10X. It's also our highest equity boards. So hard, man. Poker is so interesting.
Hey, sixes, can you go to the raise 10 frequency?
And see what our biggest
Look
aces
at
are.
what our highest are, and then do you know why a lot of that's going to be the low boards that we're checking 100% pretty much on all those, and then we're going big as a response?
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy here for some of these pair boards to understand. You're going to want to check raise some of your overpair, your two overs and backdoor flush draw, since we do have a lot of the strongest overpair in our range. And their range is still wide enough and going to be stabbing enough that you get to check raise the hell out of these middling pair boards. They don't have a lot of offsuit 8x, 9x, 7x in their range at all. So yeah, we need to be check raising these boards a lot. I know this is something Justin does a lot and talks about, taking your two overs and your backdoor flush draws, as well as your over pairs, kind of the combos that you would check raise, like tens, jacks, queens, queen, jack suited. All those hands can just check raise for a pretty big sizing here, since your range isn't capped, and they don't have a lot of trips. They don't have like offsuit trip sixes, 8x in their calling range from this spot at all.
Yeah, because as I say, that's probably something that a lot of us miss, and we're probably just doing the standard check raise if we do it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, only going like 3x, 3.5x when we should be 5xing it, right? But yeah, what was I?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Were you you just mentioned check raises instead of
Yeah, on
3x?
these boards. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so it's probably better to go 5x instead of smaller because you're getting good price call.
Yeah, on some of these boards, especially with your overpair, right? Like your overpairs on these boards. I think they're just they just never go small. There's literally no 2.5x. So this is a 2.5x check raise, which we'll commonly use in some spots. But here out of position, 60 big blinds deep effective. It looks like it's going to want to shrink the SPR and get in more money.
Okay, no, it makes sense when you mention go size up bigger, because I heard when out of position you want to size up a little bit more on everything.
Yep. To help disincentivize not only the calls, shrink the SPR, and since we're gonna have to play it out of position.
Yeah, compensate for the positional disadvantage.
Compensate, yes, that's the word. That's a good word for it. Compensate for the positional disadvantage.
I gotta remember that every hand.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're going to make up some of that equity realization that you're not getting normally.
Smaller.
Yeah, if you bet smaller, because we have our equity realization is low on there versus in positions equity realization. We're like half of it, but if we're betting bigger, we're going to make that up.
They can't float us as much.
Right.
Yeah, which is why you could call a little bit wider when in position. Okay.
Let me see to make sure. Oh, here we go. We'll take a quick look at this, and then I'm going to go ahead and set up the wizard so we make sure we have enough time. I unfortunately won't be able to go 2 hours today, but we'll definitely get some more in.
You're slipping.
No, I gotta go to the barber here in a few.
Definitely
For a
slipping.
minute too. Let's see. So overall averages across the board. Nothing to really see here, because since we're just meeting MDF, the solver is just not going to particularly overfold in too many spots. It's just going to call correctly. That is why it looks so even and balanced in a lot of these spots. I mean, of course, there's a handful of boards when we do check. We're slightly capped and we just almost need to give up. High, check raising 30%, 24. Let me see, bro. I like to look at the Broadway boards. So yeah, a lot of 2.5x check raising. So that concept of using the 5x is mostly utilized on paired boards. And maybe I'm assuming some of the mid and lower boards, some of the mid boards, because you're going to want to check raise bigger for more protection with your overpair and your top. Whereas on the high boards, you don't want to over condense their range by check raising too big on wet ass boards. So here you do use a lot of pretty big check raise sizes. Mid, low, low, mid, mid, low, mid, mid, mid. And then low boards, you're just big. Cool. Before I move on, we can look at the versus the larger sizing as well. I will say it's going to be fairly common to this. It's just going to be meeting MDF, even versus the bigger size. You know what I mean? Like if we look at it here, it's just going to be the same. But yeah, we'll move on. Did anybody have any questions about that? I'm going to briefly look at this just to show you guys.
If you check raise big and then you face a call, are you assuming that that's a really strong hand there?
Yeah, you've certainly condensed the range of hands they should be calling with when you use the bigger check raise size. So your continuing range on the turn for bluffs, you're going to really need some really strong either cards where you pick up a lot of equity, where you actually make a hand that's strong enough to go broke with, or cards that are really good for your range. You're not going to just be randomly barreling a lot on those type of when you get called when you use the bigger check raise size. You have anything to add there, Toe?
No, yeah, totally got it.
Yeah. Cool. So just quickly looking at facing the big bet, which is in this spot going to be 60% when we check from the low jack and hijack bets. Once again, we're just folding like half the time, a little bit more than half the time across the board. So it's just meeting MDF. Think about that when you're sitting out of position. You don't want to make too many nitty folds and things like that. This is just folding the bottom end. And I mean, for this big bet, you're folding a lot more than when you're folding versus small bet. So just think about meeting MDF and have to fold half your range versus the bigger bet. Cool. I'm not going to get into that too much because I want to spend some time here. We'll get into the wizard. We're going to play this exact situation so we can also get some experience playing some turns, thinking about our range as defending, betting, and all of it. So whoops, not solutions. I griefed it. Trainer, and then we'll do with limps. We'll just do 55 and 50 and 60 bigs. We want to play deeper. General with limps. We'll start from pre.
Do it to if you want to go custom spot.
Go custom.
Yeah, right there next to pre-flop and flop.
Oh, and then I can just set it up.
Then you can go, you know, just like, oh, you're on 20 bigs, so you want to change that.
I think we tried to do this before, and it was just like.
Yeah, so go low jack raise to 2.3, hijack
Call, and then everybody else folds.
Fold.
Oops.
Fold, and then
hit I don't want
low jack check.
Oh, I see. And then it'll just put us here.
Then,
but I want to give us the option to see bet some of these spots at first.
Okay.
So if I save it from
save.
here, go.
Yeah. If you hit save there, then that'll start it from us on the flop.
Let's do that. Yeah, I like that. But start training. Yeah. All right. Time to get wrecked. Who's it gonna be? Beats.
Yeah,
Yeah, right away. Deep SPRs
right away.
on spots.
And you give me queens.
Mm-hmm. So you want to see bet this board with queens, use it as a check raise. And you can also include your thoughts here as well. It's a safe place.
I mean, honestly, I think this is a board that can kind of go a little different ways, like with our hand, because it's going to be fine to check, and kind of cover our hand a little bit, or I mean, we can go 33 or even a little bit bigger at 55%. I think any one of those is going to be fine.
Okay, so what are you doing here? Which one?
Usually I'm probably going, usually out of position, I'm probably going to check.
Okay.
But
Anybody
I
doing
think,
anything different? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off, man.
I was going to say, I think you can also lead on this.
Anybody see betting?
I think I'm half potting this for protection against the flush.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do get to see bet from out of position. So I'm wondering, queens, no spade, prefer to actually just bet. Or I'm assuming that it's gonna mix frequency between a few different things, which all would be maybe correct, but not the best. But Beach, you said you're gonna check, correct?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
He's sure, why not, he says. Let's see.
I think
Yeah, see, it's gonna be
55.
mixed. So it's gonna be mixed, like correct between a lot of different, all these different plays, right? It's just obvious, like
Yeah,
you're not gonna be putting too much EV.
I would be doing more betting than checking, just because maybe he might hit something on the flop, he might hit a pair, and then by checking, I might give him, good,
Realize
he
equity with some hands
yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah,
right?
he might make, he might,
Yeah.
if you check and instead of you betting, he might fold when he could have made trips by the river, stuff like that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we look at it in a context like this, but from the perspective of playing a balanced strategy here, I think it's
Yeah.
completely reasonable to just check this portion of your range. If you have opponents that you know are aggressive, it makes for a great check raise
Right, mhm.
as well. So yeah, I think betting here as well. I think I would be betting a little bit more with no spade.
Yep.
And using closer to a little bit over half pot as well. Whoever said that, I kind of agree with that. But I can see checking with the spade here as well.
Good thing you mentioned that, because when you have a spade, it makes it less likely for them to have a flush draw.
Yeah, I mean, our
Something-
hand needs a little bit less protection.
Yeah.
Instances where we check raise or check call, spade comes turn. We're just a little bit more safer. We need a little less protection, a little less likely when we have the queen of spades. He has a hand like king, queen of spades, ace, queen of spades, queen, jack of spades, queen, 10 of spades.
Okay, so if, for example, so if you bet here and you don't have the spade and the spade came on the turn, it means that it's just more likely he might have that draw.
Yeah, he has, I mean, or yeah, either
Okay.
that draw or,
Right.
4-line draws where he's going to continue with as well. I
Okay.
think just from an equity perspective, it's just more likely when we continue, he has some flush draw in
Well,
his hand, king jack with the spade. And so he
Yeah.
doesn't flat king jack too often, but I think it might mix a little flat with some king jack here.
Plus, if
Okay.
you have the spade, it makes a third queen a clean out, versus if you don't have the spade and a queen of spades comes, it improves his flush possibility versus, when you have it and a queen comes, obviously it doesn't help his flush, and it's going to help you more.
Right.
Right,
So what are you
and-
doing
and-
here, my friend? I'm
right.
sorry.
Thank you.
No problem.
If you're asking me, I'm going to go. I'm going to check raise him, but on the smaller side, the 6.25.
6.25, no 5x check raise, 60 bigs deep. Let's see if it likes it. It loves it. And this is also a reasonable option. You're not losing much EV by 5xing it. It's like, I mean, it's the same. It doesn't do it as much, but the EV is still good.
Right, so you could go either way. You could check raise or you could just bet.
Yep. You can, I
Okay.
mean, it doesn't hate flatting and using this hand as a slow play as well. You're obviously checking here, Beach. You're not gonna lead.
Oh, no, actually now I'm just
Oh,
gonna,
well, actually, you check raise. Are you gonna
I check
continue
raise.
betting?
Now we're going 16. We're going big.
Big has been declared. Anybody doing anything else? Big it is.
No, I think it's fine. You're out of
I think
position,
it's
right?
great. Yeah, we
Yeah.
want to create the SPR to just get it in, right? Putting
Yep.
32 in the pot with 20 out there, 50 is gonna leave us like it's just the perfect SPR.
Yeah, and that 3 is just a complete banana card.
I mean, I'm just snapping for you.
Oh yeah.
Dead.
Dead.
Well, way to lose our entire stack for us. You lost it all for the
Yes.
poker. You lost our stack, buddy. Well played. All right. Ace King, you seem like you want to get in. You want to play a hand here, buddy?
Yeah, sure. I'm here outside. Sorry for the wind. I'm walking my dog. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, no problem. Awesome. So you're gonna check this monotone board. You're gonna find a small stab. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I opened the pot right pre-flop, and a hijack just called.
Correct.
Okay, I have no spade. Right, that's the first thing I'm looking at. Usually I would bet here and hope that another spade does not come on the turn.
Okay.
Just the C bet, and hopefully he could fold. Is what I want.
So you would go what size?
Oh, I would probably go 2.35, maybe not too big.
Okay.
33%.
So
Yeah.
going a third pot to not cap your range, utilize some fold equity to not just give up on this hand. Okay. Anybody else see betting?
I think I'm checking.
Check.
Yeah, I'm probably mainly
Check.
checking. If I see bet, I'm probably actually even going smaller.
Yeah, if I see betting, I
20%.
think I'm going 20% literally to fold out like anything. It just
Like,
feels like it's so easy for
Ace
him to
high,
meet
king
in
high
the-
without a spade.
Yeah, looking back, because I mean, I think that you guys make sense, because looking back at it now, if you bet and the turn is a blank or a spade, I mean, you're most likely going to check either way. So by checking on the flop, you could maybe bluff catch a little bit more instead of just value owning yourself.
Yeah, and this is his range. Don't
Yeah.
forget, this is their range. Like, what doesn't hit this? I mean, even the under pair with a spade. I think they
So,
every hand just meets MDF. Is there a hand that
Yeah.
really doesn't meet MDF here? Ace 9, that just that's ace 9 suited. Maybe the suited aces that just whiffed. Maybe 20%. That's it. Let's
Yeah,
go ahead and see what the
yeah.
solver thinks about 33% though. Maybe it just likes it, right?
Yeah, we
It's
just
all
mentioned
correct.
that out of position that you want to do a lot of checking too. So yeah, I'm learning
You're predominantly checking though.
predominantly.
You're only using this size 3% at a time. So
Hey, come here.
yeah, it prefers the small size. I mean, and then beats, like you said, if you are gonna bet using just 20%, folding out some of those suited ace-x, those suited hands that don't connect with this is kind of a reasonable thought process as well. So we do go 33%. We get called, of course, and yep. No, I mean, turn your hand into a bluff. Oh, I think his dog ran away. GG.
No, I'm here. I was just making sure he's going to the street. Yeah. Well, see, this is what I did not want, but let me stop overthinking this and let me. See, if you check, you might see when you check your turn, it means that you're weak, so it gives your opponent more incentive to bluff. So, you bet on the flop, so he called, meaning that he has something, right? So you don't want to bet when he has something. I would check, which I should have checked my flop. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, instead of thinking like our opponents are gonna think we're this way when we check, we need to be thinking in regards to ranges and strategy. That's
Correct.
where our edge is at all times, instead of, oh
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Maybe we can repeat it.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get out of that thought process.
Yeah, I mean, that's where our edge is as poker players. You know, I went and played live,
Comes
I went and
down
played
to-
WSOP stuff, and these guys are making emotional plays and making massive mistakes because of it. They think they're exploiting, but you're really just
It also comes down to like what's calling the C bet, you know, pairs
Yeah,
and
think about
flush draws,
ranges.
and none of that's folding turn.
Yep.
So we check.
yeah. You might still have this hand is dead. I should have just moved on to the next one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
and
we're
it's,
good.
it's just kind of, yeah, just kind of that goes into the questions of, you know, when you're c betting on this flop, what's better that's folding and what's worse that's calling. Not much either way.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's check.
So they hit 10, 9, 3. They I mean, I don't know. Help me out here. Do they call with a lot of like queen 10, king 10 suited, ace 10 suited, so they have more of those kind of hands?
Well,
no.
this is all math based, right? So when you
Right.
bet 33%, the solver is going to call you 60% of the time and meet MDF and only fold 33% of the
They're going to
time.
have some bluffs like queen
So-
jack and things like that, but the vast majority of it's going to have either some equity or you're just crushed, right? Like,
Yeah, every part they're gonna call you with any kind of hand that has equity within this range. So you need to be thinking about, okay, I got called. What portion of this range in the green called me again? Okay,
Right.
you have all the pairs with the spade. When you go small, they can't fold. All these 10x are still in there, right? Even ace jack, ace queen, if they did flat with the single spade are in there. Almost all these hands with spades. You
Yeah,
know,
I
and then pairs.
I wouldn't try to bluff the turn having a pair with no
Yeah, well-
spade. I think it's just suicide. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, in
Well,
my opinion, out of position,
yeah.
right?
Oh, of course, yeah. We're just
bluff,
like
yeah.
answering the question, like how to think about the range, like how we think about ranges. Is this? Do I need to reload this? It seems like
Okay,
it's. Oh,
so-
we're good.
So with my hand, what should we have done more often? Check, and then
Check.
if we do bet, well, we don't bet at all, right?
Yeah, if we do bet, it's bet give up on most turns.
Okay.
You're
Was
just
it
dead.
with
Did I bet too
5-5,
small
was
on
it
the flop?
bet give up on the flop?
Yeah, I mean it was bet.
I'm sorry, check give up on the flop.
Well, we didn't see what happened in response to a turn. This thing is running slow as hell today. It does this occasionally. I don't know if it's my rig. I don't think.
I don't think it is because I just pulled mine up and it's just slow as molasses.
So it's the whole server slow.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we'll do what we can. It looks like it'll still get going and discuss spots and situations because we still have tools and access and stuff here.
Yeah, so this is like the interesting part about poker. When you have fives and there's a whole bunch of overpairs, you have to, you're basically in check call down mode, and you're check calling all the way to the river.
Nope.
When you're you're trying to see his range, and when the cards that are on the board don't hit his range, and you're gonna call, right? You have to
No, you're mostly
Yeah.
going to be folding in a
Folding.
lot of those spots from out of position. Like
Okay.
your check call one, but it like we were saying before, it all comes down to meeting. If he uses a small bet, sometimes your fives are going to be meeting minimum defense frequency. Matt Affleck has a lot of good stuff on minimum defense frequency. If you're just
Yeah.
thinking about, okay, if he bets, he thought I was weak, I'm out of position, so I look weak, and he could just be bluffing. No, we don't think like that, and we need to be looking at like minimum defense frequency, thinking of ranges. How much visibility does my hand? Am I going to be able to call another bet and get the showdown? How bad is the board for me? Like
need
we
to check
got to
that
think
out.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm dead today. Jeez Louise.
Well, I was gonna say on Discord, people were saying that it was down, and then they said it just came back up, but it looks like it's still just.
Yeah, we'll give it another 2 minutes, and if this is dead, we can definitely find something else. We got enough sheets, charts, access, answer questions as
It's
well.
down,
This is a Q&A.
it's down for me too.
Oh, it's down for you too.
Mhm.
Dead. It's back. Baby.
Ish,
Ish.
Dead.
dead.
All right.
Forgot to pay the internet.
No, it wasn't the internet. It was
Good session,
yeah.
guys. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Right. We can do a little bit, but this is also a Q&A. I do want to open it up since we have these tools, and if there's any kind of spot situation questions that you guys have while we're kind of like going through this, like feel free to let us know.
Can you go back to the low boards on the chart?
Yeah, you want to see the low boards as
Yeah,
if
the ones we're checking like 100% of the time. I want to see if we're check calling or check raising.
okay, so this one here. So yeah, this is us checking and then hijack C betting smalls, or we have us with the option to bet. Is this the one you wanted to
Yeah,
see?
do that one versus the small bet on the boards we on the low boards.
Okay, yeah, here we go. So low boards. Let me see. That's 10 high. No, I can go to averages first.
I think the 6 high boards were the ones that we were checking, 6 and below.
So yeah, when we do check these boards, we do still find calls as well here a lot. 44%, 5 high, 44%. So we still are check calling these boards at a reasonable frequency. Some of I assume our ace highs with gut shots, our ace highs with 2 overs and backdoor flush draws and stuff like that, we'll just presume to just check call, even though the boards aren't great for us.
Hey, Toe.
Yeah.
I just sent you an MDF chart you can post for him and show him that I made for my other study groups for the JL's morning study group.
Where did you send it?
I sent it on Discord. I don't have
You sent it to the wrong. I think you sent it to the wrong GBT because I didn't get it.
You put it in the study group.
Oh, we got
section.
another hand.
That would be great.
You sent it to the real GBT, or did you send it to God's Big Toe?
God's Big Toe.
Yeah, that account got hacked a long time ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get rid of that. How do I? Here it is. Real GBT. Okay, sending it to you now. This
Did
is
you want
gonna
us to
be-
pull it up and look at it?
I'll send
Yeah,
it to you.
it's going to be very helpful for these guys.
I got
There
it.
you go. You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
That shows when it's cubed 4-way and everything, 3-way.
Oh, we have this somewhere.
Send it to
I've
you.
seen
Okay. I might have sent it to you once
Here.
before.
I'll pull it up on stream so you guys can see. This is a good in Ace King. It sounds like you may have some issues, not issues, but you know, just learning about minimum defense frequency and whatnot. And this chart will help you. And I think when you think about these numbers, you need to start thinking about the range of hands you have and then meeting the MDF percentages versus the bet size. And this will help. And this is the way it works.
So you can see when he bets quarter pot, we have to defend 80% of our range, just all of it.
Yeah, we have to defend 80% of the hands we're playing. We can fold to complete dog shit with no draws or equity, but 80% of the time, I mean, ace highs are going to be calls, you know, a lot, and you're just going to be folding other garbage.
Well, I like that you got the multi-way ones too.
Yeah, and the
multi-way.
Yeah, I had to reach back to the college math class to figure
Thank
those
you.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
So-
looks unfamiliar to me now, but over time, I guess it's going to be ingrained in like every time you play a hand.
Yep.
As you study this, it's going to like
As
come
you
to-
study it,
Yeah.
the most
becomes
important
second
thing to think
nature.
about- the most important thing to think about just seeing this, just know that of the range of hands you have, when it says 80% of it versus these bets, this is just how many of the hands you just have to start learning how to mentally subtract. And a fun way I used to do, and I forgot who taught me the exercise, is going through Flopzilla and being able to go through your hands. You can see the percentages versus MDF and just thinking about what hands meet MDF and don't.
Kicking it old school. When's the last time you opened Flopzilla?
Yeah, this is what I should be
Apply.
doing.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear that, Toe? It's been like I was doing.
It's
that
been a
exercise
long
like-
ass time since I've opened
That's old
Flopzilla.
school. Yeah, that's an old school exercise we used to do for MDF exercises. So tools where you can see the percentage of hands you have in specific spots, ranges, like here in the cutoff, and you face a bet. You want to know what 80% of it is. You could start just playing with that. Cool.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Hey, no problem. So somebody had a question regarding seeing the low boards. Is there anything else you wanted to see here? I can also go, let me see. I can also go here and maybe we can see what some of the low boards if we're gonna be check raising those low boards. Let me see something. Oh, there we go. All piss. Here we go. So does it prefer to check raise, check call? In what size? It does look like it's using a big size when it does check raise these low boards and not really ever going to 5x too often. If that helps.
Are we just trying to like push equity with our tens and nines against like sixes and sevens and ace high and stuff like that? So we're going big there.
Yeah, like they're worse over under pairs that are over pairs to the board. They'll have in their range like 7s and 8s stay flat and they don't 3-bet us. 7s, 8s, and 10s probably mix. So when we have over pairs to those, I'm assuming we're going ham to try to stack. And they also will like have ace-6 suited, right? Top.
Yeah.
So we're trying to like maximize value versus those hands when we have over pairs. And we just probably just use the big ass sizing because it just does not go small.
So
Really?
right now, what we're studying here is GTO. This is the way you want to play, you know, when you're playing against any type of player. Now, when you have some kind of history with, you know, you have some information on player or players, you could start adjusting, meaning, you know, calling more or betting less or smaller or folding more often kind of thing, right? That's the exploit that you do.
Yeah, I
Players,
mean, when you have a little information, if someone's going to be over folding or over calling, of course, we can expand or contract our ranges based on the information we have
Right.
from our villains. But I always just use GTO as a baseline. So my autopilot game, I don't have to just rely on bad exploits. I can just play a nice, strong strategy because online we're playing against so many different opponents, so many different tables, so many different peoples. We need to make quick decisions. We don't want to just be playing some random exploitative style where we're just opening ourselves up to get exploited. So it's really good to just learn a nice, strong theory-based strategy, and you're not going to get exploited because a lot of this strategy is balanced as well in every spot.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like foundational learning. It's like you take GTO, build that as your foundation, then you can build an exploit off of that based off of the opponents.
Yeah, you can't exploit if you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're exploiting yourself. Like you think
Exactly.
you're doing something, you're just making a bigger mistake than the guy who just made a mistake sometimes, you know? So yeah,
it's
just learning this.
Yeah, it's just, you know, when I started playing poker, I you know, learning off of people who I guess don't play well is kind of a bad thing. And then after all these years, you know, kind of relearning with the GTO, it's more difficult that way. I don't know. That's it might be my opinion.
Oh yeah, man, we're all just students of the game. I mean, you're in
Yeah.
good hands here at Poker Coaching. There's a lot of resources to fast track your learning process and fix some of those bad habits you picked up along the way. There's a ton of good resources here and people that are focused on not just making up exploitative strategies as they go. We're all using the tools, the best tools out there, and studying a strong baseline theory base where we can all just make money because we're not going to be making as many mistakes as our opponents.
Yeah, I just need to be a part of these groups more often. I feel like I've been.
Yep, Luis has to go in Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
It's back. It's back. Refresh.
Dead.
Louis' group will help you crush if you're there every day.
Dude, it's still dead. For me, you can see.
Mine is working.
Yours is working?
I just picked a random. Hang on.
Well, while you're doing that, one more question on MDF.
No
Does
problem.
it apply on the river less, do you think?
Yeah, mine's working. Close the browser and reopen.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, mine's working again too.
It's dark.
Somebody said it's not. What about does it apply on river?
As much. So there's times where you have to overfold. So I was watching a JL video about it, but he was kind of confusing about it, saying MDF doesn't apply on the river as much as the other two streets. Is that accurate? I mean, maybe I misunderstood him, but
I wouldn't say that. I just think
I
that
wouldn't
people,
either.
it's that. Yeah, it's that. I just do think people would show up to the river when they're actually betting, and there's situations when we condense their range and they check raise, and you think you need to MDF something when their check raise range is just only nuts. You
Yeah,
probably should just damn near fold everything. Yeah, I think in some of those situations, MDF doesn't fucking matter because the guy doesn't have a bluff, right? Or the
Right.
guy just doesn't triple barrel as a bluff in certain spots in tournaments where MDF doesn't matter. So I can kind of see what he's saying when you actually, because there's the most money in the pot there, right? So
right.
we're dead, guys.
So
Alright.
the solution is working, but the trainer is dead.
You can just look at the solution.
Yeah, you can look at solutions, but yeah, the trainer is dead.
It's even telling me the solution is wrong. I'm stone dead here.
Uh,
I gotta head out, guys. I got a full work day of gambling today, so
Hey, Chris.
we'll
Chris, hey.
we'll join you
Hey, Chris, somebody's
Saturday.
calling your name.
Hey,
What's that?
Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Adam Ranger up here. Can you on Discord send me that MDF chart? I'd like to look at the multi-way. That was
Yeah,
really interesting.
I'll put it in the just a second, let me bring up Discord. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the poker coaching members section under general chat for you. No, I don't want it there. I want it with the guys I study with. I'll put it in study groups.
Yeah, that works. Thank you so much.
Poker coaching
Awesome.
member
Thank you.
study
I'll save
group,
that.
and then you can screenshot it. Oh, I lost it. I gotta go. Oh,
Cool.
I'm on a different computer. Sorry. I gotta go to my other computer.
We got you, buddy. We'll put it in. I have the screenshot right here. We'll make sure. Thank you for that, buddy, and have a good good one. and
You
good luck.
bet. All
You
right.
too.
Talk
Thanks
to
for
you
your time.
Saturday. Hey, I had a lot of fun Saturday doing the Twitch stream thing. So a few other guys haven't done it yet. It was really fun. It was a good time. These guys are pretty funny. So-
Thanks, man.
so
Take
join
care,
them,
man.
join them for this Twitch screen. They got giveaways for you too if you're new to poker.
Nice. Thanks, bud.
Okay, take care.
Someone on the YouTube replay called us the Cheech and Chong of poker.
The Cheech and Chong. Oh, that's good. I guess we'll leave this open for questions since it is a Q&A, and try to give you guys an opportunity to answer any kind of poker related questions, situations, anything for a few more minutes before I have to head out of here to get to the barber appointment. But
yeah, as an NBA player, you got to make that, that head.
oh, that dog shit. Don't even.
I sent you a hand review, Shonda. I don't know whether
Oh,
you
I
got
think
that.
I did see that. I got distracted. Was it?
I just wanted your thoughts on the call at the end, but it's in this big blind sort of range that we're talking about.
Yep. So here we go. It's right here. So hand 107 Kings versus in the hijack versus low jack spot we were just studying at 612 low jack. We have 70 bigs effective. We 3 exit. Okay. Everybody must be extremely deep in this tournament for still 3xing. Hijack. He wrote, he 3x's and we're in the hijack. We 3-bet 3x. The low jack calls 14 bigs in the pot, A7 deuce. I'm using a small bet with almost my entire range there. Even on ace high with kings, I'm probably quarter potting. Any toe?
Oh, not looking. Hang on.
Yeah, no problem.
I was neck deep in ag reports. I'm sorry. What was the question?
So we have this hand here. He has kings in the hijack, low jack 3x's, 70 big blinds deep effective.
Okay.
He 3-bets kings 3x to 72. There's 14 bigs in the pot. Ace 7 deuce rainbow. No, not rainbow. Ace 7 deuce
Betting
two-tone
quarter
board.
pot.
Yeah, I'm betting quarter in the backseat with a lot of my range. I think on these ace high boards, I wonder if it's range back, but I would tend to bet in the backseat with kings here. I think a lot of our range, all the strongest portions of our range, all the ace-X, we're going to be 3-betting a lot of ace-X and stronger hands. So I tend to see bet this. I want to run it to make sure, but as played, it went check, check on the flop. The turn was the jack of spades. Once again, the low jack checks, and we check again in the backseat on a turn. If we check, if it goes check, check on the flop and I have kings, I'm probably going to stab bet 1 on the turn just so I don't get owned on the river. So on the river, which is the 4 of diamonds, they bet 7 big blinds, like half pot, and he hero calls a half pot on the river, which is a blank with and lost to ace queen. What do you think about the turn play? Would you change anything about the hand tell?
No.
No, you wouldn't change anything. So you just play it as straight like he played it.
I think so, unless I was spacing it.
Yep, you spaced it, but it's fine.
Sorry.
Because initially you said you would bet the flop.
I would
quarter
bet the
pot, and
flop
backseat.
quarter pot, and then he would call, right? And then
Yep.
check turn.
Yeah, then on river, I don't think he bluffs worse. I don't think we ever get bluffed in a spot like this. He checks down.
So
with the
then
worst
just check
underpair.
fold river.
Yeah, or as played, I wonder if we go check, check, and then bet small on the turn and then check river. We don't turn our hand into a bluff for 2, or
Goes check, check, turn, then I'm definitely blocking river.
I'm blocking
Blocking river.
turn. You can't block turn.
Oh,
because he
blocking
leads into it.
turn.
Yeah,
Then when you
Because
bet
he's
twice,
fairly
what's
capped.
worse that's calling?
you're not betting twice. If you did, I'm just saying in this way he played it, he checked the flop.
Oh, we took the
He
flop.
checked flop, yeah. If I check the flop, I'm not checking twice. I might go really small turn and check river.
What I'm saying is, I think I just
Hmm.
have to call that river, right? I have no option but to call.
Check flop.
I think on the river, he's wondering if he has to call river. I mean, as played, it's just sad. I mean,
That's why I'm always betting the flop.
yeah, I hate having to be in this spot. That's why I find a quarter pot bet somewhere.
He's calling the
Because-
quarter pot bet, and then you're just not betting again, and then you get bet on the river again, and then you fold the river.
Yeah, but the thing is, at that point, we've condensed his range to a point where I think he has ace-X pairs. The heart draw is a thing, but you have kings with the king of hearts,
Right.
which blocks a lot of his continuing, his king, queen of hearts, king, jack of hearts, king, 10 of hearts, and things like that. So I don't see him ever betting a worse underpair on the river. And if he was going to bet a miss heart draw, I think the bet would be more polar. So I would just think it's always value if I'm playing actually well.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I just don't see him betting a worse pair for value like this. His bluffs would be bigger. And all the under pairs and things like that are just never betting. He has a lot of ace-X in his range. I just don't want to be in a position where I'm having to hero call shit like this because we're never.
Yeah, a lot of people check the ace to the aggressor, right? So I'm not surprised that that was his line.
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
check,
yeah,
see
he
what-
just plays. Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't bet turn with the hand this strong. I think he makes a mistake.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting the turn to be bet, or even he could have 3-bet the flop.
Right, which gives you more incentive to call the river. I mean, I guess.
Well, ace
Yeah.
queen makes a very nice just flat in these spots as well. But 3-betting this deep effective, it probably just mixed from the hijack spot, from the low jack.
Yes.
Well,
yes, there
no,
would have
low
been a
jack
4-bet.
never 4-bets. I'm sorry, never 4-bets and never
No?
4. No,
Okay.
no, God, no. Cool. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you for the hand, Simon. I appreciate it. That was a good hand.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Oh, I guess see you guys next week, hopefully.
Yeah,
What's up, Scotty?
I'm going to be on vacation this week. I'm going to Hilton Head.
What?
So I'll be out of here. You didn't know this?
You just took vacation.
I've been traveling nonstop. I'm sorry, man.
You were hanging out in my arcade for like 2 weeks. How much more vacation do you need?
He's a poker player. I mean, this is what
It's just
has to be done.
stressful, dude. I'm stressed. Poker's too stressful and hard, bro. I need a break.
Hey, Jared, where did you finish in the 3K yesterday?
Oh, fuck if I know. The 3K. So that was like the 33 3K, I imagine.
No, it was a $10 3K.
Oh, the one on WSOP. I want to say sixth.
All right, better look next time then.
Next time being the night, probably.
Yeah, I have two. I've won 2 of those OCs so far.
It's good.
Well, yeah, thank you guys. I may or may not be here next week, depending on if I can get an hour away to study. So next week, maybe I'm gonna keep it 50-50. But nonetheless, thank you guys for the support at Poker Coaching. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure to let JL and the PC people know. I think we've all been getting better. This group's really helping me. So thank you guys for being here. And if you need anything, have any questions, be sure to let us know.
Yeah, conversely too, if you're not enjoying it for any reason, let us know that too, so we can make some adjustments and make this catered better to you guys.
Hey, thanks
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, and I think in the future we will end up mixing in. We've done some hand history reviews in the past. Maybe sometime in the next month or two, we'll do one and try to get through a series as well. So
Those are easier too, now that I don't have to manually run all the spots. Like
yeah,
they're
we
just
ran all
ran.
those spots. It takes
They're
so
ran.
long. So yep, we'll do that as well. And keep an eye out. And thank you guys. We're out of here.
Thank you, gentlemen. Much
See you
appreciated.
later.
Peace.
See you guys.
Later, guys.
Later.